is here.
Right.
Yeah.
Two-part question. Your bill to repeal the UIGEA's in the Judiciary Subcommittee. How did it end up there? And then
No, it's also in the Financial Services.
oh, it is in the Financial.
Yeah, the Judiciary Committee was concerned about the jurisdiction, and I understood that problem, but what happened was this: it got into the Financial Services Committee because the main proponent was a man who had been chairman of the Financial Services Committee, Jim Leach. So he had it drafted, so it would go to his committee. When I filed the bill to repeal it, some of the people on Judiciary said, well, why are you doing this? You engaging in the turf war? I said, no, I'm just doing it because that's where it came in the first place. So the primary jurisdiction, the one that passed came out of the Financial Services Committee. But I don't think that's going to be an obstacle. I think we'll be in agreement on getting rid of it.
Congressman, you've got two bills. There's 2267, which is the bill that would essentially repeal the UIGEA, and 2266.
The regulations.
Right. 2266 is the bill that would try to block it for a year. Are they on separate timelines, or is there?
They might be. If I could get the whole thing done right away, that would go right to that, to the total repeal. But it may be that that's going to take a little longer, in which case getting the regulations suspended while we worked on the border bill could be useful, especially on the border bill. We want to show people that it's feasible to have the regulatory scheme in place.
Has the banking industry said what it thinks it would cost it if, in fact, they had to in December?
I don't know if there are. I can find out. They did think it was a terrible idea and very disruptive.
Million man hours, $100 million. It was classified as a major rule, which beats those.
Well, yeah, but $1 million, probably they pay more than $100 an hour, so it might be even more than that. But yes.
That was a minimum. The major rule is 1 million man hours, $100 million.
Right.
There's also, of course, this glitch that they refuse to resolve, which is it or isn't it illegal to do horse race betting? And the Justice Department says it is, and the Treasury Department says it isn't, or vice versa. And these conservatives passed this law knowing that there was this ambiguity and refusing to resolve it. That was because some of the high-minded moral conservatives think gambling is a terrible idea, represents states with horse racing. So they managed to find an exemption. I mean, I guess the Bible bans gambling, but it has all these footnotes, like sometimes horse racing is okay, and other times bingo is okay. It's a very odd, I'm not a theologian, so I don't fully understand it, but it's a very strange set of proscriptions. Yes? Yeah.
Well, speaking of the sports leagues now, they operate in some senses with a legal monopoly themselves to, in terms of antitrust, so that they're not competition for the leagues coming in. Isn't there kind of a dual argument there? Or
well, there is, but it's pure self-interest. I'm not quite sure what it is. Look, people know the statistics from the sports leagues are used in various forms of fantasy leagues, some of which involve betting. So I am wholly unimpressed with that. By the way, but you concede the reality, this has not been a major goal, but so we put in the bill that you can't bet on professional sports. I don't know what their problem is. Maybe they're afraid this is going to take away from some of their other economic activity. Maybe again the notion, oh my God, people start to bet on sports. I don't know how adults can even say that.
Where does Speaker Pelosi stand on this?
I haven't spoken to the Speaker about it yet. I would be surprised if she wasn't supportive. People know I've been doing it. No one's told me not to. But I plan to move ahead with this and have it in the fall, be able to present it to them. To be honest, from the political standpoint, this is not why I'm doing it, but it's a wedge issue for the Republican Party. A wedge issue is one that comes between your most ardent supporters and everybody else. And that's what the Republicans try to do with us on things like gay equality, but that's no longer such a wedge issue. There was a strong band of very conservative, in many cases religiously motivated Republicans who insist on this. And then there's, I think, the majority of American people, including, and this is an example of how the Republican base is split between libertarians and social conservatives. My main co-sponsor on this legislation is Ron Paul, who's on the committee. And Ron has been a strong supporter with me. So is Peter King, who's a Republican chairman of the Homeland Security Committee. So this puts the Republicans in a bind between their ardent social conservatives and another strong group of that. I mean, if you look at people who say, keep the government out of my business, who say, don't interfere with my personal freedom, don't overregulate business, and let's have freedom on the internet, this bill is the worst example of a violation of all three of those.
Time for one more question.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, you mentioned co-sponsor the bill. We hear that term out here reading the newspaper. What is the status of sponsors or co-sponsors, and what significance would it have?
The sponsor is the person who signs the bill. There's only room for one sponsor. You become, but the co-sponsors are people who agree to support it, and you can have, and then becomes a sort of an informal term. It's whose name you put second, third. You list the names. I'm the main sponsor, but Ron Paul is the number 2 guy on there. And the significance of it is that it does indicate the breadth of support you can have. Thank you all.